So you have a new product out here in the last 6 months or so, the AC Pro. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, this is actually the AC Pro MP, and it's specifically designed for the Merlin-Geron MasterPack MP power circuit breaker, which is an insulated case circuit breaker, and it's not an older breaker, but it's not being manufactured any longer. However, there's a lot of these breakers used in critical applications like data centers. And the existing trip units that were on that breaker, they're starting to fail. So there's a problem. It's very expensive to replace the breakers. So we designed it's a direct replacement trip unit that takes the place of the old trip unit. There were a couple of design challenges. The biggest design challenge was the current transformers. So our original design objective was just to replace the trip unit, use the existing current transformers that are on the breaker. There's 3 current transformers on the breaker. And they not only provide the signal to the trip unit, but they provide the energy to run the unit. Well, these are 100 milliamp secondaries. So at full rated load, it puts out each CT puts out 100 milliamps. But we have to power up at 25% of that. So energy usage was a giant problem. So we had to design the circuits so that they were very energy efficient.
Talk a little bit about the components inside. Are they, for the most part, homegrown? In other words, do you design them yourself, or is there a mix of commercial and homegrown?
Well, the circuitry is all our own design, and the firmware, of course, is our own design. And we used I don't know if you can see it, but it's a graphic OLED display, so also for power consumption. And we use a MSP430 microcontroller to run everything. So we had to match up with the existing protective functions that the old trip unit provided, and then we threw in quite a bit of new technology. And one of them is Quick Trip. There's a little Quick Trip switch that turns that function on and off, and that's for arc flash reduction. So when somebody's working downstream, racking a breaker in or out or other work, they turn Quick Trip on, and that reduces the arc flash hazard in case there's an accident. Then it reduces the risk category.
And so you have a USB port. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, that's just to communicate to the trip unit. You can get last trip data, which is all time stamped, so that's information for the user. And also, if there's a firmware upgrade, that can be downloaded into the unit. There's also another Quick Trip is patented. We've got a couple of patent pending features in here, and one is stuck breaker detection. And the problem with a sluggish breaker is the first time you open it, it's sluggish, but the next time it's been exercised, so now it works correctly, so you can't normally detect it. You have to detect it at the first event. So that's what we do. So the other thing that's patent pending is the way we do instantaneous, because we have microprocessor that controls the set points. However, the instantaneous is digital circuitry, because it takes the microprocessor too long to power up and start sampling. So we do that with analog circuits. So we use a digital EEPROM pot to set the instantaneous pickups. So that's another unique application.
And so how do you work with these guys? They help facilitate any sort of component stuff you need, but how do you use them?
Well, they're a technical resource, as well as, we purchase components from them. Okay. So, but they're also a very excellent technical resource.
Well, that's good to know.